The next one's from Captain Canada from Penticton, Ontario, Canada. Disco has no taste. With the recent tweet or X or whatever it's called now, Disco proved he knows nothing when he called the Beatles overrated. Disco, I'll accept your apology. If you want to talk music, I'm your ice god. That's from Captain Canada. To me, the Beatles were overrated. That's my opinion. And I said in the tweet too, I said I never got the love for the Beatles and for Bruce Springsteen. I just don't. I do not get it. The Beatles had a few good songs. They're not like this, like kind of. They're not even in the same breath as Led Zeppelin, like for like for skill wise, all time. And I don't. They're like a boy bop band because this was from TM Punk's comments. Did you read this, Joe? Yeah, CM Punk doesn't like the Beatles and says they're overrated. Just a bunch of overrated, 100% overrated, phony boy band that was manipulated, manufactured, and went through phases. Oh, we're hippies now. Oh, we're psychedelic now. Sergeant Pepper. Interesting. He's more vicious about the Beatles. Actually, Sergeant Pepper's their good song is one of their good songs. Okay, but how many great songs you go listen to at a Beatles concert? Like four? I mean, they're
Four?
very.
Okay,
I don't. I mean,
I'll
I'm
get
not.
to
I'm
you in
not a
a
fan.
second. What do you think, Joe?
Well, we actually, it's funny because we talked about it recently. I never dug deep into the Beatles really, and I would say I prefer the Stones or the Doors or Zeppelin. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just yeah. And I don't dislike the Beatles, but it was a little too poppy for me.
I would actually rank the Doors ahead of Stones. And
Wow.
not a lot of people would do that. Well, maybe they would. I don't. Who knows? Because Jim Morrison they died, and the Stones still have the longevity, right?
Yeah.
But I like more Doors songs than Stones songs. 100%. You
If I'm
know.
ever like at a bar, 'cause friends used to pool money and just throw me to the jukebox because I'm that good on the jukebox.
Oh, good,
But if I didn't
good
know
at the
what,
good at the jukebox at the cheesesteak joint, Conan.
yeah, but if I was like drawing a blank, it's like you can pick any Stones hit and play in a bar, like that kind of bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well, let me just say this. When I was growing up, I hated the Beatles because they were always on the air. They were always on the radio.
yeah. All you need is love.
Yeah, the million songs.
All you need is.
When you say they only got four songs, I can think of
Well, that's not to
15.
me. That's not that great of a song.
Okay,
They
well,
You
I
know.
there's 15 songs I like. This is subjective.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's because there's a problem with you. That's
So
why.
then, so then, I hated them for a long time. Then in the 90s, I started to like, read up on them and listen to their songs more deeply. Great songwriting. They were cultural phenomenons, much like Prince and Madonna was. They were the first guys, like before, like if you did rock, that's all you did. They were the first guys that like mixed folk, classical music with pop. And yes, if you listen to their first songs, which were cheesy,
Love, love me
right?
do.
Those were cheesy,
You
right?
know, right? I'm saying there's a
But
lot of
then when he got to
punk is
start,
not off. Is not
then when
entirely wrong here. So that's what I'm
then you
saying.
got to, okay, well, I think he's entirely wrong. And I'm explaining why. And so back then, they used to think that Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys was the best album ever made, which was a great album. But when these guys started to experiment and they went through their Dalai Lama peace phase and then they went through their rebel hippie phase and their music just changed and changed and changed. You can see the progressive change
All
with
right,
every album. So,
I'm going to make a statement,
yeah.
and this is why the Beatles are not who they people.
Yeah.
They're not who they people think they are.
Right.
I'm gonna make a statement here.
Yep.
The song "Come Together."
Right.
Okay, if you're supposed to be so great, another band should not take your song and do it better than you. Okay, "Come Together" by Aerosmith is way better than "Come Together" by the Beatles. 100%. I don't think anybody can even argue that. So if you're such a great band, why are other artists doing your songs better than you? I
That doesn't
win.
make you a
I'm
bad
gonna raise
band.
my hand. Joe, do you think that makes me victorious in this argument?
I don't think so. No,
Why not?
I don't think a cover version of a
I'm gonna,
song that's better
we should
makes you a
ask
better
AI
band.
that. Say ask AI and see if AI agrees that are the Beatles minimized as a band since "Come Together" was performed better by Aerosmith than the Beatles did it. Okay. All right. So next is from
So
here.
you're
We'll just read
comparing a group that sang that in the 60s to a group that sang it in what? the 80s or something like that.
80s, 90s, and
Right.
2000s, they still perform live.
With
Yeah.
better production values and
Well,
everything. Yeah,
I'm telling you. Yeah, it is what it is.
that's a great band. The
I'm,
Beatles are
I'm
a
arguing facts and
great
logic.
band.
Hello, K100. From WWE or AEW, what wrestlers do you think should make the turn from heel to babyface or from babyface to heel? In my opinion, SmackDown's Andrade is the best candidate to turn heel. And also, they should get him back with Zelina Vega, turn her heel too. Maybe have him jump Ray Phoenix or Aleister Black. Babyface like turn, it's Jacob Fatu, but keep him the way he is. Like how Stone Cold Steve Austin was a face, but not your cooker cutty one. An anti hero. By the way, I feel like I should address this since my DNA ancestry tested that I'm 1% Mexican. The character El Grande Americano, I am not offended, not even by 1%. That's best regards to my resident booker, Brian Dunlop from the Gulf of K100. Do you think they should change the name of that to Gulf of America to Gulf of K100?
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. Andrade to be a good heel turn, then he and him and Zelina Vega turn. They could all be in our big sit down that we're going to do with Konnan when the Godfather of all the families, of all the Latino families meet, and in the big meeting room, they have the big meeting like the Godfather, where you try to make peace with all the families. And Andrade turning on Ray Phoenix could be one of the issues that's brought up. And they could say like all the baby faces could have, like Ray Mysterio go like, well, Konnan, why do you have all this influence? You know, why aren't you telling us who you're talking to in the WWE that is affecting our pushes? It's like I can never like you can never repeat your sources, right? Why is he hiding his sources from us?
So I don't mind Andrade and Vega heel turn, and I obviously don't mind the Jacob Fatu going baby.
Well, he's kind of going baby because
Right.
fans like him, you know.
Right.
But he cuts a good promo. That's why he talks like somebody that did you want. You know what he talks like? Somebody you want on your side in a fight, right? And that's the way he portrays himself. So that's why he's going to get over. That's why Braun Breaker's getting over. It's like you got all these guys you want on your side to fight, you know. So what if they put like Braun Breaker and Fatu together? And just like and like we'll just interject some stuff into the tag division again. You know, maybe take like maybe even have like Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton team. You know, like even when sometimes I used to like when the world champion would sometimes like try to he'd try to win all the belts. He'd wrestle another. You know what I'm saying? Brother, I think there's a lot of tag team stuff that's left on the table that people that they never venture into, and I think they should. You know, because it's like they got all their tag teams, like the Legado the LWO, the Street Profits, DIY, and stuff thing. But it's like they're just the tag division just sounds like it's like a lesser, like it's not important. You know,
they mostly just feud over the belts, and there's nothing.
Well, you could get should put the belts back on the New Day again. You know, and they should seriously give if Jey Uso is not going to win the world title, they should get him back with Jimmy because Jimmy's in no man's land right now. You know,
Yeah.
Like, and he would have more value if they were together again. I don't know. There's tons of different creative directions you could go in that company. You know, but I mean, and it seems like it's kind of been still been a little stale. This past Monday was great though. Finally seen us. That that's one thing I do watch live on Raw. Since they've been overseas, I watch the opening segment at like noon.
Right.
The past like few Mondays, I've watched that, like but like after the Cody thing, I just went out to went on my day. But have you watched it live, Konnan, at all?
Say that again.
Like Raw has been on like at noon, like the past few weeks, and I've actually caught the opening segment.
Yeah,
I don't watch it live.
Okay.
It's actually I was watching it live when it first moved to Netflix, and then the time change actually screwed me up. It's on already?
Yeah.
By the way, Grok responded to you, Di.
What did he say?
Does Aerosmith's cover diminish the Beatles as a band? Nah. The Beatles wrote the song, John Lennon penned it, and their version hit #1, cementing its legacy. Aerosmith's rendition, while badass, leans on that foundation. It's a tribute, not a takedown. The Beatles' catalog of 20 chart toppers and their genre-defining influence stands tall regardless of killer covers. It's like saying a great chef's recipe is lessened because someone else cooked it with extra spice.
Isn't that unbelievable that
So
AI
I'm going to declare
is
my winner in that one, Joe. And
no,
not only
that
that,
proves
okay.
AI is not accurate all the time.
Yeah,
that's all that proves.
Only
right?
when it's fitting for you.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.